Well, hello, friends, family, weirdos, strangers, ancients, the immortals, the originals, the new ones, whoever you might be. Welcome. Let's see. Feel like this hat right now? No, I don't want to wear this hat. I don't like it. I'm gonna change it. I'm gonna change this. I'm gonna change this hat, and I'm gonna wait for people to come, and we'll talk about Tesla and a few other things. Usually can't get away with just having some nothing on the screen, but we'll see if I can today. Here we go. That's a little better. Uh, I'll wait till enough people show up. Then I think it's worth talking Tesla, free energy, and maybe we'll get into the Wardenclyffe Towers, Tartarian Empire. Um, what is energy? Where does it come from? And we'll get into some deeper, maybe some logical puzzles, maybe some illogical. What do you call them? Koans, Zen koans. Maybe we'll do much of that and see if we can't figure something out here. So I will wait until there's, I don't know, half dozen to a dozen people in the room. We'll see. Until then, enjoy the sound of silence. What's up, spirits out there? How are you doing? This will be a fun show. I like this. I've not. I've done most. Um, oh, what's the word? Let's just say it like this. I don't tag my videos well enough. It'd be hard for you to find it because there's so many videos. So what I'm thinking about doing, honestly, is taking most of my channel and putting it on pause, and then just doing one show every. What I feel like. Maybe I'll do like "Fuck You Fridays," but then I'd be stealing the Color Mondays. But see, I don't. Playing with time and words is kind of funny to me. What day, what time? I don't know. It's whenever the spirit strikes, it makes you just speak. You just speak through the spirit of God, or the spirit of the devil, for that matter. It's one and the same. Or the spirit of Tesla, or the media and meteor is pretty funny words, isn't it? Meteor, media, and the medis, and the medicine. We'll get into some deeper things. Yeah. Well, spirits ether. We'll see if we can't redirect your thoughts slightly, because I may say some things that will hopefully help people, confuse other people, and uh, you know irritate other people. So give me a few minutes here. I'm gonna use some gematria as well, so we can go through a few different lines of logic here, whether it's geometry or geometry, gematria, excuse me. Um, we'll talk about Tesla's name. We'll talk about uh, what was his name? The dude that supposedly stole all of his ideas. Okay, there's Westinghouse, right? Remember Westinghouse? And then the other guy, the people's inventions. Remember that guy? And then we'll talk about. We'll get into a few different things. And again, I want people to realize spirits, there are not two sides to a coin. We're going to start right away here. Right away. This isn't a duality game. There's not two sides to a coin. You're 100% false. I mean, you're not false. The statement you made. There's two sides to a coin is wrong. Go look at a coin. See that edge there? There's at least a third side to a coin. At least. At least. And that's, how many coins have literally like You know how some coins have 72 sides, or depending on the size of it and the little notches in there? Are those not sides? I like to think there's three because I think the outer ring of a circle is one, and the top and the bottom is one and one. So there's three sides. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna give you the third option on things. It's kind of like everybody's like, there's only two sides to a coin. There's only blue or red. There's only you know, left or right. There's only Democrat and there's only Republican. That's just not. That's just very does not compute. Illogical, right? So we'll get into this in a minute. If nobody else shows up, it'll just be me and you. I don't know if I don't know that I'll keep this online. I don't really, if you happen to be here and you showed up, uh, you're welcome, I guess. But we'll get into this in a second. I'm making some tea right now, and so I have to go collect that in about 3 minutes because it's a 10-minute tea because I'm using roots. So here's a little. If you're using roots, you have to use a hotter boil. You use the boil and like let the water on there longer. If you're using, say, flowers or the new bud of a white tea, you use a lower temperature for maybe 3 or 4 minutes. But if you use a darker tea or something that's been fermented, you have hotter water up to 200 and some degrees. You know what I'm saying? The third side, see, I love that. Good shit. Yeah, good shit. The third side is the truth, except for then you have to go, okay, well, then, what sport have you ever played where there's three teams? I mean, if you play Chinese checkers, then there's five teams, but then that's going to get out of control. Anyway, so I have to go collect this tea in about 2 minutes and talk about. I want to. I don't know how to go about this talk. You know what I mean? Because I go at this idea of Tesla with, and I bring this up because I had a conversation with a really really good friend of mine who um, it's like breaking open the head, and he's not getting out of the matrix because I don't think there is an escape from this whole system because I don't think you need to have an escape. I don't think you need to be Superman. It. He never get out. It's all the same thing. It's just this big wonderful playground that we live on. So it's not like getting out of the matrix. It's seeing things from another perspective, because usually, like a red sheet in a bowl, right? And it's not like that. And there's also the people watch it. People going like, I hope that motherfucker, like all of the different opinions. It's called opinion. It's like if you go to a store, you have an open. Is the store closed or open? It's an open. So opinion. So an open means a pen, which is a star. I can star with a circle around it. Open. It's an O with a pentagram in it. So if it's open, what is it? So we'll talk about these ideas, and we'll go further into Tesla and the MEDES. Maybe we'll get into the 33-degree parallel Hollywood and a few other things. So let me go pour this tea right now because it's about 10 minutes in here, and I'll be back in momentarily. And I'll tell you what this is when I get over there. All right, we're almost completely here. You know what I'm gonna do though, just because I want to. Before let me finish this beer off and go grab myself a glass of wine. Tea, wine, beer. This is shitty, warm ass. I can't drink this anymore. It's filthy. It's filthy. I tell you. Aluminum can and everything. Sounds like aluminum cans in a bag. I know that lyric. What do kids say these days? On flat. What does that even mean? 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 On flat. What does that even mean All right, all right. Let's stick in this Tesla thing. Got my. Let's start with. Let's start with the. I mean, that's where we're getting to. That's the point of the story. Thank you. Free energy is because that isn't that what Tesla was about. Why would he be making free energy if it wasn't supposed to be free? And we'll talk about if Tesla even existed. And we'll talk about backwards mapping, ancient Tartarian Empire, you know, the language of the gods, the free energy. Like, where does that come from? What is that? And how does that translate to people that have a lot of money today? And why do they have it and other people don't? We'll talk about that in a second. So we can all pretty much unanimously agree that through the study of Tesla, he's about free energy, not pay for, free, free for everybody, free energy. Yeah, and we'll talk about how that intercedes. Is that a good word? Intercede with the human points of reality, all points of. Let's see here. Let's just start with this because I think this will be the most fun to do this way because I like to do things backwards, as in backwards mapping. If I start with the word Tesla, because that's his name, correct? I mean, if he was a he, if he existed, the first thing that I see, if I put Tesla into a gematria calculator, and if you understand, gematria is the language of taking letters and turning them into numbers, and this exists in every language, and it goes back most apparently to Hebrew, Jewish, English, and then you have simple, but basically there's a and I think the root word for gematria is geometry. So geom or gem or G's and J's are kind of funny words. So here we go. If I put Tesla into a calculator, the first thing that I'm shown is it links up with the word Enochian magic. And I'm looking right at it. We could put it into a calculator. And that is the Jewish gematria because usually things work slightly different in different languages, but they're gonna link up in a way. So Enochian magic, and if anybody knows Enoch or the Enochian spellcasting system, it's interesting that his name would link up to that. It also means Lord Code. It means Dubai. Let's see, what else do we have? Original. I'm just kidding. I mean, look, I understand very well that you can use gematria to equal good or bad things in your perceived land of what you think good and bad is. I'm just giving you a couple clues to what it links up to, and because the number is 216, 216. He also links up the circle of life, fools, rich girl, Cheops, oneself, made in words here that equal the same thing. So let's go to that's in the Jewish cipher. There's a few other ciphers. You're like, oh, you could use any language and do anything you want with it. Yeah, kind of, but in English gematria, it equals moon. It also equals Bible code. Rose equals Gemini. Equals Jews. Jews. Wood, shark, pineal. Let's see what else we got here. Magician, if you spell it the right way. Let's see what we see in the. Scroll down to this Casablanca, Slav. Okay, and here's simple gematria. Simple gematria kind of links up with the last gematria, the English gematria, pretty closely. You know, the moon, the Bible code, the rose, Mr. God. Interesting. A friend, human, Gemini. Anyways, so it's very interesting to consider the idea that if he's been made popular in any way by the media, did he really exist? Like in the way that they say he did? Did he design all these things? Or was he just looking at ancient architecture and backwards mapping what was going on? I mean, the giant buildings. We can above, just above coming out the womb. We just look around and go, holy shit, those buildings are really, 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 really old, or they just must have built them because the technology could not have been there in the 1800s to build those, and they definitely weren't there in the 1700s. But we're trying to figure out how do they build these, unless there was higher technology and higher understandings long ago. And was it Tesla that figured out how it was done, or is it just giving you an idea? Like, okay, because what's the moral of the story for people? If you know something, what had happened to Tesla? It's him with the little mustache, just he's kind of sitting there, and there's him as an old man with a decrepit face. Is it the same dude? Why is it on the pictures they show you? These words have all of this thing, but then it's like locked down from the U.S. government. I thought he was Serbian. What is okay? Then we got to traverse this whole thing. One person, Tesla, he figured it all out, and everybody else was just too stupid. But why no? Why didn't anybody want what he was not selling? Huh, interesting. So they just like found his shit, and they like, why wouldn't they just bury that? Why would it even be part of your internet search? Why could you even know? According to who? Why? Nobody knew who Tesla was in 1990. Not a motherfucker did. Everybody was out here like, oh, genius of all geniuses. One person said E equals MC squared. That they have a picture of Einstein and E equals MC squared. That's all. That's all you know. You know nothing else, right? But then right now, he existed. And then we'll do part 2 where he didn't exist. Maybe, possibly believe a little more. It seems to be a little more the case that he didn't exist as some dude from Serbia that came across all of the functions of the universe and told you the power of 369. But nobody knows what 369 is. Nobody knows that. Nobody knows. What does it mean? What does it do? It doesn't do fun. It does it. Same thing as 123 does. Same thing as abracadabra does. Same thing as Atman does. Same thing as say Zen, say Sar, say whatever the fuck you want. Whatever. It's just some numerics. So let's go through this. So Tesla existed. What was he trying to do? He was trying to give people energy for free. So he was building these giant towers. One was called Wardenclyffe. Yeah, I wouldn't put it all in capitals like that. You play in capitis diminutus. That's not. We don't play those games. Why is it a little lowercase and uppercase in the English language? It makes no sense. You don't speak in upper and lowercase. If you say A, you mean A. Period. Done. Why is it split? See, there's duality even in the English language. There's no reason to be. Why do other languages have? Ask yourself this. Ask yourself a very important question. Do other languages have upper and lower case? Go look at the Chinese alphabet. Go look at Arabic. Go look at Hebrew. Go look at the passing the river. Go look at Damel. Go look at all of these things. Do they have upper and lower case? What's the difference there? Do trees have upper and lower case? Do animals have upper and lower case? No, it's an animal. Period. Yeah. All right. So back to this idea. So Tesla was giving people free energy. That was his goal. Yes. And then Westinghouse and who's the other guy's name? What's that other his name? Yeah. The guy worked at the back office. What's his name? Interesting, right? So all of a sudden, Tesla's AC current. Remember, anybody watch the movie or study DC versus AC direct current? District of Columbia, AC, Atlantic City, directive of the current of energy, which is DC, right? One direction. Where alternating current is Atlantic City, which means if you go to Atlantic City, what do you know about Atlantic City? You gamble there. And what do you happen if you go to Las Vegas? It's energy there. It's called the vagus nerve. See, it's all connected to the human body. Alternating current and direct currents and the so alternating current, the direct current, and the vagus nerve. Those are DC, AC, and Las Vegas. So he was working with alternating current, and the other dude was working Thomas Edison. Thank you. He was working direct current. So how is it the world works in alternating current, except for the fact that everybody is like jacks off Edison, even though Edison was working DC, which is kind of govern minds. So people, he's a genius, right? But then they don't realize like he tried to, I don't know. See, now you gotta question those stories, because every story you've ever read is, you know, basically from the people that gave you the books, people that let you watch the shit. Like, how do you know? How do you know what Tesla was doing? How do you know what Edison was doing? But if we take the story at face value, Tesla existed and he was working with alternating current, and Westinghouse and Edison came through, stole his shit, told him he was, oh yeah, this is a great idea, and then basically cut him out the profits, and he died a hapless old man in the middle of New York, with a bunch of cats and rats everywhere. I mean, how, if that's real, then how evil can evil be? If someone gave their life's work of figuring out how energy works to someone, and then they didn't repay them at all and just let them die in a fucking in a tiny small little apartment in the middle of fucking, where did he die? New York somewhere? Anybody know? How could Edison? So anything you believe about Edison, then you have to believe that that man is beyond horrible, deplorable, in fact. At Westinghouse, anything that those two have done, you should never even participate. Now, I'm not saying any of that really occurred, but the story is, as we can see, that someone was trying to give people free energy. There was cars running around on his electrical energy systems based on Wardenclyffe. If you even understand what if you go to Paris, if you go to France, you see that giant tower there. What's that? What's going on there? See there? No, it was an antenna. Every way you can identify that as an antenna, just like you can all these old buildings. They were antennas. So I'm just trying to say this, like Tesla, for if he existed, he was trying to give people free energy, and it's very simple to find out. But people just, they go, no, 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 no. Okay, and what they do is they go, no, and Elon Musk is selling us cars that improve the planet, and they sent a Tesla. Why would you send a car into outer space? Wouldn't that just get in the way? If look at here's the logic here. Let me give you some high level logic. I'm gonna pick my nose while I'm saying this, just so I look like a fucking idiot. An idiot. Sorry about that. All of these planetary bodies are just moving around, spinning around, doing all this weird shit in this empty space. But they're all in unison. They're all working together. They've always worked together perfectly. In this space that I don't know why they're spinning like that, but they continue to do. Just a car, just let it go. What if it hits one of those fucking planets? What if it just, as it's just floating out there off in Bolivia, and just hits one of those planets? Wouldn't that be bad? Tesla wouldn't have done that. And Elon Musk, he didn't come up with something new. He's the CEO, possibly, of some enterprise that stole an idea of giving people free energy and then sold it for $80,000 for a car. Hey, don't get me wrong. Are they fucking awesome? Yes, they are. I've been in one. They're fucking amazing. And I think that, like, with the proper understanding of how the battery system works and everything else, the cars are going to be better than using fake fossil fuel that doesn't come from dinosaurs, by the way. It comes from fucking corn. But that's a whole nother, that was the last few videos I did. But those cars can be way more better. Like, there's no problem with the digital realm and having cars that run on magnets and electricity and all of that energy as implosion technologies. But it's getting there. It's getting away from explosion technology to self-referential technology. If you don't understand what that means, it means that the car can run on, it doesn't really exhaust anything, but it does from somewhere. So where is the car getting the energy, and where are the batteries, and how the batteries are made? So there is something there. So it's a better step. It was never supposed to be 80,000, 80K for that shit. It was supposed to be free to begin with. But we live in a capitalist society which seems to progress things at a at a retarded rate. And I say retarded because retard means to retard something. It's kind of like if fire is going to get into a suit, they call it fire retardant, and so it doesn't allow. So if you go to a school system, what they do is they retard your development from grade to grade, gradient system to gradiate something. On the side of a beaker, you have a gradient system, which it means it's basically retarding the development of something else. So if you were in first grade, remember when you were in school and you got bored with something because you already knew it? You're like, can we just get to the next thing? But they wouldn't allow you to keep going. They just retarded your development. And so that's what retardation is. And that's the idea of capitalism is retarded. Just like as I go back to somebody saying that there's uppercase and lowercase in the English language. That's retarded. Why? Why isn't there just one letter, one thing, each letter, right? A, B, C, D, E, F, go through the alphabet. Why is this? Nobody said, you say there's 26 letters in the English alphabet, yes? Why do you type in lowercase and uppercase? Then there's 52 letters in the English language. Is there not? There's A and A. Or no, I just said A and A. That's B and B, C and C, D and D. But you can't hear the difference. When does it come into A? When is that? When could you understand? That's the silliness of it. So here, let me type in Nikola Tesla here. I like doing it this way. Nikola. Oh, excuse me. Nikola. Nikola. That's correct. Yes. It's with a K. Tesla. Did I do this already? No. Let's just see what happens here. The thing that works with his name is Golden Gate Bridge, which is very funny because that's connected to the Tatar Empire. Greek Pleiadians, first god, Nelson Mandela. Interesting. The seal of God. Interesting. Some very funny words here. Let's go to another. That's the Jewish gematria. And you can say what you want about gematria. Viper Lord, Holy Dragon, Mary Magdalene. His name has the same value, 714, as Mary Magdalene. Star of David as well. King James Bible. You can type it right in, see for yourself. Tribe of Judah. I'm not making this up, it's right here. Divine Light. There's another one. You can't make this shit up. I'm just telling you. This is literally. Yeah, so there you go. I just find it very amazing that people like, if Tesla existed and the ideas that he had were it was for the expansion of humanity to allow them to have energy unto themselves freely the way it was supposed to be, and then the story is told as no, it was cut off from allowing to reach the general public in any way. What website do I use to dissect names? There's like 3. Just put gematria in. There's 3 really good ones. Gematrix is a good one. The other 2 are, let me see. It's the one by Zach Hubbard was a good one. I think it's called, let me find it real quick for you. Gematrix with an X, and Gematrinator, GematrinAtor. And then there's Riding the Beast. Those 3, they're the first ones that come up, but they really serve the purpose of giving you as much information as you can get out of how to work with, taking a letter to a number and divulging some sort of code. So those are the 3. They should be the first 3 that show up. And that's the only time that I'd really rely on, Google or whatever, if you use DuckDuckGo or whatever the fuck you use to give you like a proper, but those 3 do a pretty good job of, because they're not fucking around. It's right there. It's letters and numbers. So there you go. I usually don't use gematria so much. I normally use gematria as I've said before, I use gematria as a 4th level of understanding something. that after I've gone through everything else of figuring out the code of something using sign language, using smell reference and my physical senses, and you know, that only redefines something and says, okay, if I thought it was like this way, then I'll just use that to like quadruple check it. But other than that, it's when people use it as the code for all of reality, that's not true because I could have used that code and told you thing. I could have said something like, uh, "Here you go, fucking Tesla means donkey dick." You know what I mean? It might. I don't know, but and so that's why people would just go they clown on the code of, and it's like the same with astrology. Like, yeah, well, astrology says this, but I'm also like that. Well, yeah, that's the dark side of the planetary ideas, right? Just because you don't express them or display them all the time doesn't mean you don't have them. It's about just understanding them and understanding them and overstanding them and you know using them as qualifiers for things. Hmm. So let me see. What else did I say? I mean, I guess the overpinning understanding, the overlying under no the overarching. There's a good word. The overarching idea here is that I don't think Tesla existed. I don't know that Edison did. Um, I know that most of history has been falsified or or is very unverifiable or is very unshaky ground with what you can actually, you know, what do we fucking know? Like, you don't know shit before you were 5 years old, certainly, and you definitely don't know about what was going on. And you know, people are still worried about like John F. Kennedy. You know, like who the fuck cares? It was like 1963. Fuck, do you know? It was all made for TV movie, as far as I'm concerned. The same way as H.G. Wells in the War of the World. You know, you can't really, you can't. Hey, there you are. You can't really know, but when you start to kind of look into it, you go, okay, a lot of our history books, our dictionaries have been, you know, changed. They've been, you know, things have been, you know, altered. Is it for people's benefit? Um, for the most part, no. But there is a tiny little thing that says, no, it was for the adventure. So then you can kind of, it's like a giant, it's a giant puzzle that you're working inside of and figuring out as you go along. So in that way, it's this great adventure thing that you're doing. But in the worst ways, it caused people so much fucking harm and animosity and you know, it doesn't make any sense. Yeah. So if you're the keyhole to all of it, you could understand it. But like, well, I don't know. I don't know. Like, should you have to learn gematria and coding? Should you have to learn how to speak 30 languages and play all the instruments? Should you have to learn how to, you know, you ever have to cook for somebody? It's, you know, it's the right words. Open sesame. You know, that you could say all the right words, but that doesn't necessarily mean it you know, functions if we get to that. But under that, let's go back to this before I go deeper into this crazy shit about codings and reality. It all is what it is, and we're all sitting here having an experience and a good time for the most part. And the ideas that Tesla and everybody else put out, it's contradictory. The people that are out there to free humanity with the ideas of magnetism, levitation, consciousness, all of these words that kind of go into like, you know, oh, it's new age, it's fluffy, it's blah blah blah. No, that's the thing that was supposed to bind and unify people to one love, a higher algorithm, a higher understanding, and too many people are trying to leech off of the people that have given a life's work. So if he did exist, he gave a life's work to being like martyred or something. That which you know that's so in all ways it's the same story as the Bible. And if anybody has read the Bible, you can't believe that for 1 second to be an actual historical record or document of anything that's occurred, but rather something to do with a very esoteric, occulted understanding of the human body, astrotheology, and a few other you know other key points. But nonetheless, Tesla was certainly out there, if he existed, trying to free humanity from the bondage and shackles of the capitalist succubus and monetary system. That was seemingly what he was doing. But then again, I don't really truly believe he existed. I think there was some idea or some group think tank that was using that and used him as a name to describe an idea of the way that things were backwards mapped through find by backwards mapping. I mean, you find an object and then you see it and then you go, how did they make that? And then you just start pulling it apart and then you find out pieces and you go, okay, let's put that back together. How do you put all these pieces to make that thing, that giant, what would they call it, the giant cube, the Saturnian cube, the game cube. Hold on, let me let this dog out real quick. She's sniffing at the door. You want to see outside? Come. Oh, you can stay out there. You don't got to follow me. You just go on. Go do your thing. Go do your thing, boo. Come on, boo. Go do your thing, girl. What to talk about here? I think I've emptied the chamber of knowledge here. I'm sure I'm going to listen to this and recognize that I forgot a few key points, and so I'll probably do a part two of this. Um, but I'm here now, so if any of you people have a question that you want to add to this, or if there's our keyboarding skills, or if you don't have hands and you're just using stumps and you just speak and the computer listens and it types the words for you, feel free to do that too. If not, I'm going to call this I'll say this was the show. Thanks for joining. And then I'll come back on and probably like 20 minutes, and I'll make some music for you guys. And I'll probably do it live. I'll see if I can hook up one of my old systems. You guys can hear like a real live rendition. We'll see. The Nintendo 64 puddles down the street. You go. Brian's name, you say it? You say it? Nostrovia. Is that right? Did I say it right? Is that my Russian heritage right there? My Tatarian heritage? Um, Vodka and tequila pretty good. My pirate blood has not influenced me that much yet. My gypsy pirate blood. I can drink port wine, but rum has not really set into my system that well. But yeah, tequila. So I'll say, what would you say? What do Mexicans say when they're drinking tequila? You know, cheers to this, cheers to that. Oh, is that right? Hey, was it correct? Was my look was it Slavic enough for you? Nostrovia. Now all I need is a little bit of caviar. Except I try not to eat too often when I'm drinking. Hmm. Lord of the Balkan Seas, huh? Hmm. Are you having beer? Well, cheers to that. I'll drink some wine with you. I already drank beer. I don't want any more beer right now. Maybe a little too bubbly. We're just digesting some food I ate earlier. Oh, look at that. What the fuck? Hold on, let me see what I can do. Gal? Is it ah? Al? Skal in Norwegian. Well, Norwegians. Is that do the Norwegian accent right? Um, apparently some dumb shit happened here. Let me see if I can do something here. How to unblock? Let me see. Hey, check it out, y'all. I'm gonna come back on here in a few minutes, and I'm gonna make some music. But I have to let me take this call real quick. I don't know why the fuck this happened again. Skull. Norwegian skull. Yeah. Okay, guys. I'll talk to you in a little bit. I'll be back on like 5, and we'll have some fun. Cheers, yo. Hope you enjoyed the show.